Joining us now to discuss New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. It's always great to have you and to get your perspective. You know, we're looking at a new year, a new administration, new policies, turning the page on some of the dysfunction, let's say, that we've experienced the last 4 years. But ultimately, you've got governors in our state, for example, Kathy Hochul, that seem less than eager to want to participate and coordinate with somebody like Tom Homan to fix this problem. How are the Republicans going to work with the Democrats to try to make sure that we rid ourselves of at least the criminals that have come over the border illegally?
Yeah, well, thank you, Jackie. Well, this is a complex issue. Obviously, in New York, we have sanctuary cities, we have sanctuary states, we have sanctuary campuses, which completely flaunt the federal and state laws. These are choices by local municipalities to actually not enforce our laws. We also have something in New York called the Green Light Law that actually prohibits local law enforcement from working with ICE and other federal agents to determine our safety, in direct conflict with what the 9/11 report came out with and said local law enforcement needs to work together to keep our communities safer. I will tell you, it's been a very interesting thing in New York that the reporter just cited Section 287G, which allows local law enforcement to work with federal agents. There's one county of New York's 62 counties that has enacted this. That's Rensselaer County. It's run by my dear friend Steve McLaughlin, who's amazing. He has stood up to Cuomo, stood up to Hochul, and is allowing his officers to work to keep his community safe. I will also tell you another thing about Steve McLaughlin. He was the only county that did not allow Cuomo's absolutely deadly nursing home order that allowed COVID-positive patients to be put in the nursing homes in Rensselaer County. So he's a standout among New York counties. But they have, the ACLU in New York and Hochul and the Democrats have been fighting Steve McLaughlin over this. And now we have Tom Homan, who's actually hails from my district in New York 24 up in Jefferson County. He is going to be actively pursuing this because think of the cost. It's been $5 billion of New York taxpayer dollars just this past year to house and take care of illegal immigrants, on top of $3 billion in the past years. This is going to be something that we're going to have to crack down on. It may require lawsuits. But one thing I will say about the electorate in New York, a lot of Democrats actually voted and leaned towards this border security and toward removing illegal immigrants. So it's going to cost some money, but it's going to be saving money in the long run because of the persistent costs that we have right now.
Congresswoman, you make a great point there, because according to DOJ, in their recent study, they claim that American taxpayers in 2023 spent over $150 billion on illegal immigrants. And the price tag, according to Tom Homan, to start these mass deportations is around $86 billion. Is Congress going to be able to get behind that so that we can start these deportations?
Well, look, we got Tom Homan, who's going to be the border czar, and you know what he's going to say to Congress? Doge it. That means get rid of it, terminate it, trim it, whatever. And we're going to have to do that when it comes to all these unnecessary regulations and the pure cost of keeping people who've come here illegally, many of them criminal illegal aliens. Remember, we had some people, we have over 10 billion. I think they've estimated over 2 million, if that we know of, how we have no way to gauge this, of gotaways who could be criminals in this community. We've seen horrific things. The woman that got burned alive by an illegal criminal immigrant on the subway. We've seen, all these, young women raped and murdered across the country. Yes, this is going to be something that we're going to have to doge it on. And I'm really excited about making sure we do that in Congress.
Another similar thing I think that people are looking forward to next year is extending the the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was signed into law 7 years ago, but it expires at the end of next year. Are you confident that extending those tax cuts will be a priority and will get done next year?
Oh, they're a priority. I sit on the Ways and Means Committee. Actually, Christmas Day, I was texting with our chairman, Jason Smith, who is gangbusters to save America, and so is President Trump. Every Republican has got to get on board. We may see some Democrats, and we've got to get together and make this happen. It's going to be what's going to bring growth. It's going to unleash American energy. And we've got to do this, I think, combined with border security to make sure we get everyone on board, because these tax cuts are going to be negotiated, and we're going to have every single Republican, because we can't spare more than one vote to get this passed under what they call reconciliation, because we don't have a supermajority in the Senate, and we have an even narrower majority in the House. So this is what's going to drive the economy for President Trump very rapidly. Tax cuts, cutting needless regulations through dodging it, and also dealing with the border problem and making sure that happens. And then finally, unleashing American energy to bring us back to prosperity and common sense. I'm really excited, but the Republicans must stick together to make this happen and to save America and to help the American people.
Well, the Democrats always did under Nancy Pelosi. She would say march, and they would march. So a lot of people looking to the Republicans to figure out the program. Congresswoman Tenney, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to all of you. We're on to the next holiday.
Yes.